ceiling.
There you go.
The nightmare that is the ceiling tile.
The ceiling's pretty bad.
It's pretty gross.
I feel like I'm back. Have you seen the ceiling in the kitchen?
Oh yeah, it's really bad.
It's so bad.
There was a leak like
That makes
a few
so
days
much
after we
sense.
moved in.
Of course.
Hi everybody. One person.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, body.
Mom? Just have a really cool conversation with one person.
Well, we couldn't share anything on Instagram because Instagram is broken. Victor, hello. Jeremy, hello. I have not got your pedal off. Oh no, I did. I did drop your pedal off. Nick, hello. Doing all this via my phone. The comments disappear after a second, so bear with me.
Do I need a moderator here?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how to assign a moderator in the middle of a live stream though. Steven, hello. So, we're building Olympus. Well, I am. The guys are making all sorts of other things. McKinley's on Wildwood duty.
Sure.
That's all he does now.
I'm the
His makes
Wildwood
wild.
millionaire man.
Jeff is golden fleecing it up. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. I've done live streams in the past where the camera is actually just pointed at what I'm actually working on, and that may be more interesting. So if you guys would rather see my solder work, I can do that. Just let me know if that's more appealing to you. We got the royalty-free chill hop happening, keeping things mellow. So yes. Otherwise, hit me up with any questions you have, and I'll answer them. All 7 of you. I'm an influencer, right, Mom?
Yes.
Honey, you look beautiful on camera. I have my live streaming rig in my office for the podcast, but there's not enough bandwidth for me to do this in there. So what happened to the new Spartan series that won't see the light of day? If I were an MMA fighter, what would be my intro song? MMA fighters have intro songs? What happened with the new Spartan series? That's a good question. So, seeing as I'm working on Spartan series, I was working on a new fuzz, right? And not new as far as like nothing, not a new circuit, but new to me. And I was kind of excited about it, doing something slightly different. And it just was a stinker. Like, the prototype sounded okay, but when I made what would be the production PCB and started testing it, it just was so dull and boring. And compared to the Golden Fleece, it was just not interesting. You know, I don't understand the point of making something that, you know, sucks, and it doesn't, well, it didn't suck, but just is kind of,
Step backwards.
yeah, or just not interesting
It wasn't
compared to,
bringing anything new to the table.
yeah, it would be more expensive to make and sounded way cheaper and boring compared to something like the Golden Fleece. I don't know. So it is on the shelf. Maybe one day I'll revisit it. You know, make it. If I find a combination of components that work, but let's get this a little closer. There we go. But until that day happens, probably not gonna. How do you make the comments show up? There we go. Greetings from Germany. Hello, Matt. Oh, and I see Jared got a high road for an insane price. That's awesome. Ordering from the UK, you only pay import fees if over $800. Is that correct? No, I don't think so. I think you pay fees for if you're in the UK, no matter what. Really, you pay duties. You might not have to pay all the VAT stuff. Fresh set of eyes, ears is always good for a project. Well, yeah, but this one, I know it wasn't great.
And we all heard it.
And then the guys heard it and they were like, meh.
I mean, it sounded good for what it was.
It did one thing.
Yeah.
The one thing.
It did what it was supposed to. It wasn't like a design or anything. It was just
It
with
made
the flavor.
It had one good sound, but it didn't have the interaction between the guitar and the fuzz. It was just so boring. So, yeah. And I've definitely made a few pedals like that over the years. But yeah, it's funny. I posted. Thanks for the shipment of Olympus to Mastery. Yeah. Oh, ordering from the UK to the USA. Yeah, I don't know, actually. Usually for customs with music equipment stuff, yeah, it's anything $700 to $800, but it fluctuates for paying duties and things. Sometimes you don't pay it at all, depending on the carrier. Sometimes you do. It's really inconsistent, at least in my experience. I buy very few musical instruments, but I buy the components, and it's, I don't know. It depends on how they like market on the customs form. What kind of music do I primarily listen to? It depends. I mean, when I'm working, I listen to a lot of electronic music and stuff like this. This is just some royalty-free chill hop, so I don't get flagged. But I listen to a lot of guitar music. I don't know. That's one of those questions I struggle to answer on the spot. I don't know why.
Just working here alone, we listen to there's no forms what we listen to.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or
Like a flow
reason.
consciousness thing.
It'll be like crazy metal or electronic music or classic
Analog
rock.
country, or
Yeah.
it could be alt rock stuff.
Have I ever done a rat? No, I've done layouts for rats. I did one for another pedal builder years ago, and I enjoy the rat. But oh yeah, so getting back to the suggestions that people made, I asked for suggestions about something simple that would work for the Spartan series, because it's a very kind of straightforward design, and all the things that got suggested were either an okay suggestion or crazy. But I have to remind myself that most people don't know what goes into a pedal. Even like a big muff, if you're looking at components that are that big, I mean, it's going to take up a lot of room. So, master. But I've thought about doing a rat. The thing about it is, I circle back. People were requesting some silly ass ideas. Yes, they were. But the problem with rat is, I'd have to convince people that, I can do it without an LM308, because I know where to get some LM308s, but they're really expensive. So to the point of where I would probably have to upcharge the pedals. That wouldn't make sense compared to what some other people make. So, I feel like with the Olympus, no one else is making a Clark Gainster circuit, at least no one that I'm aware of. So I can kind of get away with it, but it's fancy parts. And, a lot of hand wiring, as you can see. But if I were to do a rat, I would mod it a little bit, change some things that I've really, some things really annoy me about the rat circuit. So, oops.
We almost lost you.
It's really annoying trying to get the chat to show up. Place it after the Herc on the Olympus. Nice. Okay. But I think the most requested thing by far was a treble booster. So we'll see. Oh, limited Hercs look rad. Yes, they do. And I was initially just gonna do those myself, and then made the mistake of sharing it. And then every single dealer was like, "Hey, can I get one?" Boosters is so hot right now. Not really. You're saying that because Benson just released one, so it's what everyone's talking about. But boosters are. Oh, treble boosters? Maybe. Yeah, I would agree more with that. Clean boosts are the hardest thing in the world to sell in the pedal community because people go, "Why should I pay that much money for something that just makes my signal louder?" You know. But it's like a nope, don't care. I'm a little shocked that the Benson boost is as expensive as it is because I just feel like that's a hard sell, but they have the clout, so you know, I'm sure they'll sell them hand over fist. We'll see. Stamps Drive-O-Matic. I have to play one. You know, I've only had Rhett's recommendation, and he and I can't see eye to eye on everything, obviously. So I would have to, play it because I might hate it.
Brett likes it. You're like, all right. How bad am I gonna hate it?
Will I let you mortals know the difference between the limited edition Herc and the V2? Yeah, I mean, I can let you know right now. It's got more gain. The voicing is the same, but the gain has been increased, and so that kind of changes everything. You know, like how it responds, how loud it is. It's loud. It's damn loud. The low end is shifted around a little bit just from changing the gain. So the price is going to be the same. What was the last pedal that genuinely changed the game? Changed the game? I think the last pedal or series of pedals to really do that would be stuff from Strymon. Because, you know, as cool as a lot of pedals have been, I think nothing that's come out in recent memory has really made guitar players go, "Oh, wait, what?" Because stuff like the Chase Bliss Automaton series and whatnot, they're cool, but it appeals to a very narrow margin of people. Whereas something like a Strymon that has all the bells and whistles and sounds really good appeals to everybody. You know, I think everyone in the shop agrees that the Flint is one of the best pedals ever made.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
So, and after
Deco as well.
the Deco, I mean, all this stuff, when the L cap came out, everyone was like, "Wait a minute!" Like, I don't think the industry had gone, "Huh?" Like that since the DL4.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. Should you run your Mjolnir before or after you Chupacabra? I would probably run the Mjolnir before, yeah. Oh, there we go. That's how I make the comments show up. What about the preamp trend? Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of pedals that say preamp really should say overdrive with treble and bass knob.
Amp in a box.
Amp in a box
Yeah.
thing. I don't feel like most people are making true preamps. Some people are, like Benson and whatnot. Thought of doing a Neve style preamp. Not really. I don't have any interest in that. Because that just is not a sound that I have ever lusted after. It's not a sound I dislike. It's just like, you know, it's funny. I was testing one of the Fuzz Face kits from a couple years back, it was like, that one's from 2019, December 2019. And I was plugged into my Deluxe, and the guys were like, "What's that?" Like, "Oh, it's just the amp." It sounds really good. You know, it's like, what? I don't know.
Have you done the plug into a vintage Neve?
No.
Sound? Have really done that? It's amazing.
I'm sure it is.
Pedals don't even come close to capturing that.
Right.
I mean, obviously, because you can't have a guitar amp in the equation.
Right. I'm sure it is cool. And I'm sure sounds great. I just don't. I've never experienced that, and until that happens, it makes me go, "Oh, I need that as a pedal."
I just don't think a pedal could do it.
Even with all the right transformers and everything.
The closest thing is the color box if you go direct.
Yeah, going
Yeah.
direct. Yeah.
You have to go direct, yeah.
That's just it's so in your face.
Is that the pedal testing station? Yep, that's the Vibro Champ XD right there with my Voodoo Lab pedal power 2. And then what was that? Well, I do pedal kits again at some point. So we've been talking about it. The only thing is that pedal kits, the problem with the kits is twofold, right? Having to bag all the components and label them is a bitch. To the point where I should just make stickers. Just go buy a sticker sheet that has all the labels printed on it and stick it on the back. Because the reason you want to do that is you're taking out the human element of, oh, I put the wrong resistor in. Like, I have to read these color lines and, figure out which one's which. It's a pain. So if we take that away, you don't have to deal with the other big headache, which is, hey, my pedal doesn't work. That email. Well, what'd you do? I don't know. So, but we may do it. I want to go through everything again and try to make the kits even easier to make without doing all the heavy lifting. I've thought about maybe doing surface mount for the power stuff and and things like that, so it's a little bit easier of an assembly, because who cares about filter caps or whatnot, pull down resistors, things like that.
Things that don't actually weigh in on the ton.
Yeah, things that are just for
Utilitarian.
noise or whatnot. Ready for some Ghostbuster binge watching with the family? Well, Graham, he's still a little young for Ghostbusters, but
There's some mature stuff in
yeah. They say some things. We watch clips, and I always have to yell over, like the part where Mr. Stay Puft comes out, and Winston goes, "Oh shit!" I have to watch him go, "Aw, snap!" like that real loud, so my son doesn't repeat that, because he will. You finally come around to Tube Screamer style pedals after hating them for so long. Now BB pedals are sounding really boring to me. Yeah, because Bluesbreaker pedals are boring sounding. Sorry. Zach was right. There's a stinger.
That's
Josh
it.
Scott, make it.
Zach was right.
Where would you put a EQ pedal on your board before or after drive? So it depends on what you want it to do. I would probably use it more as an effect, so I'd probably put it after my drive section as to not alter the sound of my guitar. If your guitar doesn't sound right and you have to use an EQ pedal, you may need to rethink your guitar choice, right? At least that's where I'm at.
Or pickup choice.
Or your pickup choice, yeah. There's all sorts of things.
Pickups can pretty drastically change the EQ of your guitar.
Yeah, even just like your pickup height
Oh,
can
yeah,
make
there's
a
plenty you can
huge.
do with the ones you got.
I never want to be the person to immediately go, oh, change your pickups when things aren't sounding right, because chances are you can probably get it sounding pretty good with what you got.
I mean, I think getting used to anything is better than changing anything. But
Yeah.
it's not fun.
Right, yeah.
It's true.
You ever thought about changing your pickups? No, I've just dealt with it.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you play better, I think.
Yeah, knowing your tools will get you there.
Yeah.
If I don't know a guitar, I'll swap pedals and pickups and everything.
Do you find that pedals work well with some tube amps and not others? Sometimes. What's a good pedal for slide guitar? Fuzz. I don't know. A lot of people would say compressor, but
A cool tremolo is always good with slide guitar.
tremolo, yeah. I mean, I think the people that would jump to say compressor are probably pretty right, but you know, even Joey, who is the best slide guitarist I've ever known, doesn't use a compressor all the time because it's like once you get it in your hands, you don't need it. So I don't know. YouTube today, yes. 1 amp has a tone knob only. What's wrong with that? Am I using lead-free solder? Yes, I've been using lead-free solder for years now. And how often do we tin the tips? I only tin the tip whenever we finish soldering, right? So, oh shoot, the tip on this one's gone. It's got a hole in it.
Oh, man.
So here, check this out. Check this out. Holy
Take a
smokes.
look.
Can I turn, how do I turn the camera around? Oh, there's the button. Boink. Work. Aha. Okay. So, see that hole? This is something that happens with, see that hole there? Get in there. That's something that happens with the lead-free. After this tip's probably 3 weeks old, maybe. This stuff and like wiping the tin off there or the solder off there wears it out. So that needs to be replaced, which I'm going to do right now. And I saw someone say, you can't, for the life of me, get solder to stick to your tip. Okay, here's what you buy, right? Just gonna turn that off. Get on Amazon. Who is this? Chris. Get on Amazon and buy, oh, this is gonna be backwards. This stuff. It's called Hako FS100. Foot Switch 100. FS100. Chemical paste. So this is a tip tinner, cleaner. And what you do is with your iron hot, you just plunge it into this stuff and make sure you have an extractor or something going, or do it near a window. You do not want to breathe the smoke from this. It is really, yeah, really gnarly, really bad. After you do that, it's gonna just eat all the corrosion off of your soldering iron tip. You can use it again. You can solder with it. It'll take solder, but here's how I use a soldering iron while I'm working. I've tried to instill this on everybody that's worked with me, and I think the guys have pretty much adopted it.
Yep.
You use the FS100 throughout your build. If you're going to be soldering for hours, every time you notice your tip getting crusty and gross, try to clean it with the brass sponge and use a wet sponge. I usually will kind of like wipe. I don't plunge my soldering iron in because what that does is it forms the end of the tip and kind of mushrooms. I kind of wipe, like push in and wipe kind of thing, and then I'll wipe on the wet sponge. If that doesn't take off the corrosion, stick it in this, do it again. But when you're finished soldering, after you're done, clean it, use the sponges, use the chemical paste, clean it off again, and then tin it, and then switch your iron off. And what that does is create a shell of solder around the edge of your tip that keeps it from getting gross. That will make your tip go from lasting a week to a month. If you're using lead-free solder, it really helps. Leaded solder, it's not as big a deal. And what temperature? We run at 720 degrees.
That's right.
So
So
720.
when you tin it like that, essentially it's just creating a shell to keep oxygen because it's going to
Yes.
oxidize if it's in open air. So it's
Yeah.
keeping oxygen.
Keeps it from getting.
Those soldering,
Gross.
soldering iron tips. Man.
But one thing too is you want to make sure you have. You want to clean your sponge off from any like little gnarly bits of solder that ball up on your wet sponge, and then this solder, this brass sponge, is actually. Ooh, I need the garbage can. they get like impacted with solder, right? So I'm gonna try to pull this out. Oh, this one's gone. Wow. Okay.
Good example. Huh?
Yeah, I want to show you guys this too, because this is. You have to change these pretty often. These are cheap. These are disposable things that you have to just understand that if you're working, you gotta change it. You can see all the solder splatters. So, oh, one thing I should say too is after you tin it, I smack it in, smack off the excess, right? But this thing is starting to get all packed in with solder, right? So this middle part is just hard and solid. So sometimes when that happens, you can just flip it around. That side's kind of okay, but that thing's pretty much a hard nugget. But all this is just little bits of solder. All that's real gross. So, bye-bye. Get rid of that. And then replace your brass sponge. And it's gonna last so much longer. Keeping your tip clean like that is important safety thing. Oh yeah, wait, hold on. So also, if you want to be extra, no, here you do it. We have this. What is this thing called? The FT700 from Hakko. This has two little spinning brass brushes. So let's put the fume extractor on. So that's gonna tin it, or that's gonna clean it. Little smoke. Put it in there. It's gonna brush all that crap off. And then we'll tin it after we wipe off the excess. Get a good glob on there. And then we'll smack it in there. It's got a nice little candy coating. Oh no, don't wipe it off. There we go. And then we're done. Oh wait, are you gonna keep soldering? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I thought you were done.
No.
That's it. That's how. If you want to use the extra tool, but that little thing, the FT700, is more expensive than the soldering station, and it works well, but it's not. I don't know. I don't think it's worth the extra money, unless you really, really, really want to have all the cool toys at your bench. Oh, I gotta get a soldering iron. I have people that say, Jesse, who used to work here, he worked at like labs and like did real deal stuff, right? And they would just throw their soldering iron tip away at the end of the week. Just throw it away. Because it was just gross. So, what was the first thing you'd read, watch if you couldn't solder at all, but like learn primarily for the purpose of guitar stuff tinkering? There's a lot of great YouTube tutorials and videos on how to deal with that. Oh, here's a tip. So, one thing I would recommend, no matter what you do, is invest in a chisel tip, which basically looks like a flathead screwdriver. A lot of soldering irons come with a conical tip that looks like a sharpened pencil, and those can work okay, but usually what happens is all the heat just goes right to the very end of the tip, and it's kind of hard to use that when you're trying to solder all the ground pads or ground wires to the back of your pot, especially on something like a Strat, where you have 3 22 gauge wire twisted together and soldered to the back of a pot. You know, that's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to heat up with a conical tip, but using a chisel tip really makes that easier if you have the right iron. So, have I ever done any tube amp projects? I've worked on tube amps, but I've never built one. So, I've re-tubes and done some mods to some old Silvertone 1484s, to the point where all my friends who had them started bringing them to me, and I said, "Hey, these suck. Don't bring me any more, please." Another question. When using a brand new tip, what temperature do you tin it before working with it? Well, a brand new tip is already tinned, so you don't have to worry about that. It's already ready to go. At least with Haka. I don't know. I'm sure Weller's the same. You'll see it after you heat them up. They'll melt and you wipe it away. It looks brand new and perfect. And here's a brand new little brass sponge. It's like a scouring pad or something. You shove that in your little base. If you have a Hako like we do here at the shop, click it in, ready to go. Now get back to work. But yeah, all these fresh soldering iron tips are pre-tinned. And you can change tips for the job. McKinley's got a smaller tip that he's using right now for the Wildwoods. Jeff and I are using the larger, the 2 tips. I used to use a giant tip that really looked like a screwdriver tip, and everyone said, "What are you, soldering pipes?" Started making fun of me, so I shifted down. But I use that thing for everything. The bigger the surface area, the faster you move, I think. Area. Gosh, that's a redneck way of saying area, isn't it? And that area, that's got a bigger area on it.
Big old tips on there, get a better area.
Better areas.
I tell you what.
Better soldering area. Well.
Get your iron.
Your iron. Heat up your iron. Heat up your area.
Take a look, see here. See how it's all flowing nice and easy like?
You basically want to make these pads look like a Hershey's Kiss. You ever had one of them?
Man, I didn't think Pennsylvania made anything good. Hershey proved me wrong.
I save every piece of tinfoil for those for lures for fishing.
Yeah, I use it. Place the cap on my teeth with it.
But you can start to see when tips start to go, because they'll start to dish, right? So it's, I'm sure there's videos on soldering iron tip maintenance, and if there's not, talk about an untapped market.
Right.
Start working on that. You hear that, Rhett Shaw? Are you listening? Boathoven. Oh man. Boat. Should I switch the camera around so you guys can see me solder? Do you want to see that? Don't nod your head. I can't tell. Like, leave me a comment. My accent's not that bad, but I do have an accent. I've tried my best to train my accent away. Try not to say "ol" and "pa," "ah," anything with "ah" sound. That'd be sweet. Okay, let's see. See if I can show you guys some soldering. Let's see. No. Oh, bow. Down. Got this Thorpe box. So the pedal's in there, Adrian. I don't know about this, but man, it makes a good phone stand. No, the pedal's great. It's great. Oh my God. No, he knows what's up. Okay, there we go. So sadly now it's going to be more of a bear to read comments. But you can see me do some stuff. Maybe not. I have a big phone holder arm thing somewhere. There's like a clamp that goes on the table.
I saw that the other day.
Did you see that here?
I saw that. You need a tripod?
No, it's not a tripod. It's
The
like
one
a.
that used to be in your office that we tried to fit to the desk was too wide.
Was that in there? It had a phone holder on it.
Mm-hmm.
I figured it would be like down there somewhere.
It's not under your desk.
I don't think so. Oh well. Your drinking game is every time Zach or Rhett gets mentioned on the Novo Guitars podcast. It's kind of hard to not get mentioned because we're, you know, or at least for me, because I'm right next door, so I'm talking to Matthew and Dennis and Devin all the time. I think it might be at the house. Who knows?
I got one.
I know I have it.
Probably your place that definitely has.
All right.
Yeah, it makes sense to get mentioned on the Novo show since we're separated by a single wall when
Yeah.
we recorded.
I could shove the soldering iron through the wall and be like, "Hey guys, what's going on over there?"
Tim would probably love that, to be honest.
Yeah, we can talk about Destiny.
Just pop into the podcast.
Yeah. Bro, what's your light level at?
You're not doing anything, right?
You get that new exotic?
Lucky pants, am I right?
Lucky pants, yo. This is kind of hard because my hand just gets in the way of all the solder work. Let's see. And if I do it any other way, then then I can't read the comment. A major side effect of buying a Nova Guitars is that a few days later you're jonesing for a new one. Yep, that good guitar effect. What is the basis of Destiny? What do you mean? Like, where is it set? Or like, what's the story sort of thing?
Why? Destiny?
Why Destiny? The story is convoluted and science fiction-y and real dorky and has a lot of characters whom I don't even know, or I like sometimes when we're playing it, I'll just skip cutscenes. Matthew gets really annoyed at me. Because I don't know what's going on, so I'll just have to like watch it on YouTube later. Like, what was that? Who?
Yeah, we usually skip all the dialogue.
Yeah, and the story's like kind
That's
of,
how every dog games.
it's kind of inconsequential because you know it just plays so well.
Yeah, I'm there to blow stuff up.
Yeah, we're there to
Matthew, however,
kill aliens.
Matthew can lay the lore on you.
Yeah, he knows his game. I don't know if you guys are even see this. Blowing on solder. Yeah, okay. So what I'm doing, I'm not blowing the solder itself or the joint. I'm blowing the smoke out of my face. But I'm trying to cool the solder joint itself. I'm just trying to get the smoke from going in my face. Because if I had this fume extractor going full whack, you would not be able to hear me. Because it's, I mean, maybe you can, but it's pretty loud. And I feel like this is kind of pointless because you can't see. My hands are in the way of everything anyway. I'm slightly disappointed with the fact that Instagram isn't working because I'm so more accustomed to doing this on Instagram. But yeah, you don't want to blow the solder joint itself. That can introduce a multitude of problems. But yeah, it's kind of like that, blowing the smoke away. As long as you're not standing there going over the solder joint, it's fine. At least for pedals, you know, we're not making, you know, space shuttle. Did I manage to get some white knobs in that recent score? I did buy some white knobs, but the big thing I bought were the Klon knobs. I bought thousands of Klon knobs, thousands of Golden Fleece style Klon knobs, the black 1470s. I bought all the a whole lot of pedal or knobs for the positron collider. Those are very kind of hard to come by anyway. Really specific. Honestly, I should probably buy more because one day they'll dry up. But yeah. Do I plan to have a few more UK dealers? Use the 3D print knobs. No, 3D printed knobs look stupid. You'd have to 3D print them, sand them, and then cast them.
It would take a long time.
It would take so much. I mean, like, I could understand doing that if you were trying to prototype a new knob, but for production, no, they look like crap. Yeah, at the time. Yeah. But I'm not. There's no point. And yeah, Davies 1470 is the Klon knob. But do I plan on getting some more UK dealers? Not at the moment. You know, I you know, ultimately I need to talk to Lee about it because we've had a really good working relationship and friendship. And while I see the value in having more stores potentially for people to try things, the last thing I want to do is jeopardize the relationship I have with the first store to carry my stuff. You know? I don't want to mess that up. So, there's that. It's definitely something we could do more easily now because for a time, it didn't make sense for me to take on any more work because I just couldn't, you know, I couldn't imagine having to get more pedals out into the world. But, you know, now we're basically caught up on most orders. It's not that big of a headache. So. But, yeah, need to talk to Lee. I don't want to jeopardize that relationship. All right, everybody. 43 minutes in. Probably going to answer a few more questions and have some lunch. Big fan of the Daedalus Plus. Is it a Bluesbreaker style pedal? Yes. Sounds very different. Well, I tweaked it a lot. You know, it's not by any means just a normal, hey, here's a Bluesbreaker, hey, let me make it. I changed a lot of components in that thing. So I tried to make it as different as I could. And when I've tried to revisit that circuit recently, I just hate it. So I'm not a fan of it, and I just don't feel that I need to make stuff that I'm just not in love with, you know. So, because I've had a lot of people requesting a reissue or a successor, and I'd rather do something different. Because I really feel like the Bluesbreaker is a very lackluster overdrive circuit in most of its permutations. Need to love Phaser. I love Phaser. What's wrong with Phaser? Phaser's fun as hell, man. It's just, for me to make a Phaser, you know, My favorite phasers are usually JFET based, and they have to be matched. And if you know anything about the world of components, JFETs are hard to get, much less getting a matched pair. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So having to match them, it's a lot of work for, you know. Addicted to your Chupacabra, what circuit is it most like? Well, it's a 4049 hex inverter chip, so pedals that have used that style chip have a fairly similar lineage. But yeah. The only phaser I could see myself making easily would be a Univibe, and I have to figure out how to make it that is interesting, because otherwise I just don't want to make a straight up clone, or I do and it sells well, and I don't know, maybe I just do that, we'll see. Yeah. I have never tried to lay out a phaser, or a Univibe rather, in my my computer. Come in! Come in!
I'll say bye.
Oh, bye!
Bye.
I don't think the dataless sounds bad, I just don't like it. I feel like the stuff I make now is better. Hard to stand out in that realm. I don't know. I mean, it definitely, I think you have to bring something to the table or do it for a really competitive price. I do feel like most Univibes, I don't know, are prohibitively expensive.
Yes. Why? I mean, I get why.
It's a complicated circuit, but
Totally get it.
it's not,
Go.
I mean, it's not, yeah, I mean, the only thing that's kind of weird about it is the light bulb and the light dependent resistors.
Yeah.
I did see a neat trick though. I was looking up some photos of some Univibe style pedals, and a lot of people, so the original Univibe has this like little metal cup that sits over the bulb, or it's a box rather, that sits over the bulb and the LDRs. I saw someone where they just put it on the bottom of the circuit board, so it's like going to the inside to the face,
Yeah.
and the circuit board like took over the whole thing, so light didn't spill out.
Yeah. That's good.
Easy. If I do it, let's do that.
Seems obvious.
I mean, if I wanted to make a Univibe, I'd like to make it for sub $300, and I think that's totally doable. I think the only thing about it that, I mean, I don't know why it's so expensive. The only thing that comes to mind is the bulb. Is the bulb. There's nothing else in it that's complicated.
Well, it's crazy pedals too.
Yeah, it's a
People will
craze,
pay
yeah.
money for fuzz faces.
Yeah, it's definitely a mojo thing. Yeah, there's nothing complicated. One dual gang pot for the speed. Bunch of transistors, cabs, resistors.
All part of course.
Unless you go with a weird enclosure, which is the thing, but some people, you know, just use normal enclosure. Dual stage pedal. There's a market for that sort of thing. See, I think a lot of people make dual stage stuff, but I love 2-in-1 overdrives, and I'm working on some. So, when do I feel most in sync and out of sync with guitar culture? I feel out of sync a lot of the time. If I can make a $299 Univibe good and do something, you can totally make it. You can make a Univibe for $150 and still make money. No problem. Easy peasy. If you wanted to. But it's what the market can bear, and I think the market, you know, maybe I just do that. Just say, screw it. I'm making a Univibe. It's gonna be sub $300, and I'm gonna make it as good as I can, and kick everyone else out,
Yeah.
or just make them go, damn, that sounds really good. I guess we gotta lower our price.
There's just not much competition at the end of $300 range.
Yeah, there's really not. There's like crappy versions. But the thing is, too, is like light bulbs.
Yeah.
A lot of those light bulbs, up until recently, everything I knew about had lead. So it was not ROHS compliant or CE compliant because it had a leaded light bulb, which is fine. Forever, the bottom little thing, the little dab of solder on the bottom of the light bulb was leaded. Why? Because it was. Was it dangerous? Not unless you put light bulbs in your mouth, like Uncle Fester. Like, you're fine, right?
It's not good to do that with lead-free solder either.
Yeah, just don't put
Gotta
anything in your
clarify.
mouth.
Yeah. Don't chew on it.
So,
I
yeah.
know it's hard not to.
Hey, that's why I got the lead-free light bulbs.
Man, you gotta stop eating those, man.
Yum, 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 yum.
Please get the diet ones.
The diet,
Diet lead-free light bulbs.
LED, lead-free. Full-tone Deja Vibes are under $300. Are they?
Yeah.
Dun Effects Watcher.
I got mine for $200.
Never heard of the Dun Effects Watcher. Oh, we know all about the full-tone scandal.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
Surely not.
I mean, the Deja Vibe is sub $300.
I got mine, well, mine's
New.
used, but I don't know. This stuff's cheaper than I always think it is.
Yeah.
So you can't buy it anywhere.
It's about use. The lead is where the real tonal mojo is. No. Some people would say that.
Some people would be a little wrong.
There's lead everywhere, and you know it's fine. Just don't put it in your mouth. But I mean, lead pipes. That's another thing. Don't. Yeah. Ugh. Don't want that. You looking it up? I think that little custom shop one, like what you have, is more than
$213.75 for Seawater.
what? $213.75.
What a deal.
Who priced that? A spreadsheet?
It's a very random price.
Here's what all my parts cost times 2. There it is.
Quick math.
And by the way, he's making way more than whatever that would be. 106-ish bucks. It doesn't cost that much to make those things.
Yeah. What are those pedal pond vibes going for, like $600?
Yeah, probably. Here's my main beef with most Univibes. They're ugly.
That's the thing.
What?
I
just the
love
old
jam.
school Unibobs?
No. Most clones of Univibes are
Oh,
ugly.
yeah.
I love the Jam Univibe, but I
The
don't
one with the
like
flowers
enclosure.
on it?
Yeah,
I hate it.
it sounds great.
But oh, you don't like the
I
enclosure.
don't like the enclosure,
Yeah, the
but
look.
it sounds insanely good.
I think most of them are really unattractive.
Because the pedal pond's €400. That's probably like
Like
$600.
That's like $1 million. How many Shiba Inu coins is that?
Couple million, probably.
1 trillion Shiba Inu. Is he still in business full tone? Absolutely. Full tone's still in business. You know, I love full tone pedals. I've known that Mike Fuller has done unsavory stuff for a long time. I think
Most people.
we in the industry knew that, but I feel like the majority of the guitar world didn't know. I don't know. Mike Fuller lives in Nashville now. Oh God.
He's in Nashville?
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Time to open Mythos Denver.
God, no thanks.
Everybody's living in Nashville.
Even me. All right, guys. We'll call it an hour. We're 55 minutes in. We got a sweet peanut butter sandwich waiting for me.
Oh, yeah. They can use a bowl of what Jeff should get for lunch.
What should Jeff get for lunch? Nearby, we have Hardee's, Taco Bell, KFC, Wendy's, Arby's,
Waffle House.
Waffle House, Jack in the Box,
Taco
McDonald's. Yes, that's it. Taco Bell.
Dude,
Backyard Burger,
Yeah, it's worth saying twice.
Bojangles.
Ooh.
I'm going to Nectar for coffee. You can
Thank
call in
you.
there.
I don't know. Taco Bell.
Okay.
My God, there's Red Shaw.
Might have to save Taco Bell for later.
Challenger approaches.
A challenger approaches.
We heard you talking mad shit earlier.
I think we're gonna try to mod this Tube Screamer this week, Rhett. We'll video it. Maybe I'll have
Oh, shit.
McKinley or Jeff run the camera. It should just be like a time lapse.
We'll do a whole stop motion film.
So stop motion.
The parts just crawl into the circuit board.
Great idea.
We'll get some of that music from Tested to put in the background, from that royalty free.
We really should submit some. Just hear some tracks, use them as you will.
Well, see, I recommended that to Rhett, and I don't know if he remembers that, because Tested's background music is sometimes some's okay, but most of it's really bad. And I said, Rhett, you should record some songs, or just take like the jams you used in old demo videos, and just send it to him and say, hey, here's 3 minutes worth of music.
Please use this.
Use this. You can have it. Just link me in the description. Because some of those songs, holy shit.
Fred doesn't have that can. Don't do it. That was good.
I'll put them on a flash drive and I'll just mail it to him.
There you go.
Tested mailbag. New music. What? Huh? But Rhett, Instagram was down. At least for doing anything. Marty, hello. Made some headway on the Shoyles fuzz over the weekend. That's good. Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp are all down. Whatever will we do on the toilet today? I like to text people on WhatsApp while I'm going to the bathroom. Keeps things, I don't know, familiar, personal. You guys like that, right?
What?
Where'd you say?
Huh?
You saying something to me?
Yes, I love
Internet gonna die.
Uh-oh.
AWS as well. What's that?
Owls.
Owls.
Owls, yeah.
I can always read so good.
59 minutes and 17 seconds. Amazon Web Services. Aha! It's Parlor. They're mad about when they got taken.
Oh no. This Parlor's revenge.
Michael Ernest.
A lot of the internet is built on it. That's weird. Amazon controls everything. Just so a man can take a dick-shaped rocket into space. Look at me! I got a cowboy hat on.
That's the goal of Mythos.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
hey, it's an hour, right?
Space program.
Right on it. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging. I tried to make a story post and share, but like we know, Instagram was down, so gonna try to be more consistent. Mythos Mondays and Friday AMAs and all the things I used to do. So lo-fi elevator music, yeah, man, royalty free. Bezos is the biggest just divorced energy ever. That's absolutely it. Damn, what am I gonna do now?
Go to space.
All right, guys. See ya.